Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Get to Know UIC, Get to Know United in Christ. Today I have the absolute delight of being joined by Karen and Dave. Karen and Dave, thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. This is a lot of fun. This is very cool. So, Karen and Dave, for folks who maybe don't know or who haven't been keeping track, how long has it been for the two of you? How long have you been connected with this community as Karen gives Dave a knowing look? Yeah, I think we... How long have you been a part of this congregation now?
You want to go first?
I started out, I was born into the church. So at St. John's, and then through the years, and then we joined United in Christ.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of those folks who are there from that groundwork foundation of this new entity, right? Yeah, that's very cool, very very cool. So growing up from there on the hill, all those years, right?
Right.
That's very cool. So then, Karen, that makes you, as we've grown fond of calling them, that makes you one of our marital transplants, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Excellent.
It's been 40 years.
Hey, listen, there wasn't a test. I wasn't trying to make you try to remember how many years it's been for. There you go.
Well, we've been married 39, but I did go before we were married.
Very
so.
nice. Very, very cool. Very, very cool.
I was brought up Methodist.
Okay, there you go. I was about to ask. Yeah, okay. And in a local congregation?
Winfield.
Oh, down Winfield.
That's where my dad was originally from. So yeah.
Gotcha. Naturally.
That's where we went to church, and I was confirmed there.
Oh, nice.
But my mother was always originally a Lutheran, so.
Ah, there we go. There we go. That's it. With a name like Grace, you got to figure that there's a high impetus among the Lutherans. So that tracks. I like that. I like that very much. Well, very cool. So obviously then it's been a while, right? For Dave, it's been your whole life connected in this place. For Karen, 40 years. That's a long run with a community. That's a long run for one place. So then what is it about this place, right? You know, as you know, decades come and go, it's easy to kind of move on from things. But what is it about this community, this congregation, that has made you want to stay a part of it for all these years?
Go ahead.
I think everyone has said, I mean, it's the people, it's the family, but it's the love, the care. I mean, you know, whenever you need something or, you know, whenever you're feeling down, it seems, you know, there's always someone there to bring you back up.
Exactly. Yeah. That just always to have that kind of network of folks just surrounding you at all times and built into this community, right? It makes you want to keep coming back. That's cool.
I think I'm going to use a different answer, but it's God's Spirit.
Yeah.
It's constantly working and moving and changing out at our church.
Absolutely. And so often, I mean, in terms of words, it's a different answer, but often those are the same thing, right? And I think sometimes we it helps us to remember that, like, that sense of community, that's what God draws us to, right? God's Spirit moves among where God's people are gathered, and that's a beautiful thing. So to be a part of that movement means that, yeah, we have that network of support around us, and that is nothing less than a gift from God, right? That is God in the midst of it. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, well, as you think about it then, and as you think about the movement of that Spirit, of God's Spirit in our community, you know, what are those moments where you see that really being lifted up? Where do you see God at work through our community, or working on our community, I guess? Where do you see God at work in this congregation?
I see, I see it in everything. I mean, there's just so much stuff going on at the church. New people coming in and plugging in right away and starting new programs up, and not upsetting anybody. I mean, somebody has an idea, they go with it, and it's accepted.
Yeah.
And it's so great to see people coming in and plugging in right away and using the Spirit as it moves them. You know?
Oh, absolutely. I think
different people.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're spot on. I often think that this community, United in Christ, I almost think of them as like this little faithful laboratory, right? Where like we do all sorts of weird stuff. Like we are experimenting with things all the time. You are a community that like likes to tinker and try new things and take on new challenges, right? And some of them are phenomenal and they take off, others not so much, but that's okay too, right? But it's about that movement of faithful experimentation of just trying what's next and seeing what God can do in the midst of that. It's really something incredible. And that's very cool. I'm glad you get those glimpses as well, because I think that's a real joy of this community.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Karen, I want to give you a chance. I don't know if you had a different answer, if there's other places where you see kind of the ministries taking off or God at work in the midst of this.
It is just everybody working together,
Yeah.
and the outreach and
Yeah.
the community and everything, and the youth.
Yeah.
I mean, the youth were a big part with us
Sure.
boys growing up, and I mean, I did Bible school with the kids, and when they were little, and then we were youth leaders, and the youth gathering. I mean, that is the best thing anyone can experience. I mean, we went as chaperones with Cammie, and we had 10 kids, and it was fantastic. I mean, it was like, I mean, when you do youth services at church, I mean, things still make me cry because it brings me back to that. I mean,
well, hey, anytime you want to get back in the saddle, listen, we got a spot for you, all right? Like, listen, it's an okay thing. But that's so cool because that's a good reminder. Like, we talked about this with Kelsey the other day about what it's like to be both a participant at the youth gathering, but then to all come back as a chaperone and be able to witness that take place. So, what was that like for you? I mean, I've heard and I've learned that over the years, you were very much instrumental in chaperoning youth, especially with your own two boys, of course. But what was it like for you to be able to get to go to those youth gatherings?
It was a once in a lifetime, and it was our first plane ride.
Oh, there you go.
I'm claustrophobic. I don't like closed places. I don't like heights, and it was like God had to be with us
to get you there.
To take care of these 10 kids,
Right. We got there only by the power of the Spirit. Holy cow, right? Yeah. You don't like heights, you're claustrophobic, so let's go ahead and pack you in a long tube, throw you up through the sky, and then make you meet with tens of thousands of other kids when you get back on the ground and pack you into an arena. That sounds like a good combination recipe for you.
She did well.
Well, and that's what I hear, right? I hear like if even those were the odds stacked against you, for you to have seen it as such a life-changing kind of thing, for you to describe it as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, right? Like, it's something to seize upon.
It is, yeah. I can still remember the speakers. The lady, she was an Indian, and her color of her skin, she talked about how she was actually considered not white or black enough, I believe it is.
Sure.
In India, and they were treated like outsiders.
Wow.
When she was a youth, she was abused. And the one speaker I remember said, if you're going to believe in Jesus or get to know him, you're in for a ride. It's a roller coaster ride. He said you better hang on because you got ups and downs.
Oh yeah.
It's like a roller coaster. And he was really, and the kids really just, they were great. They just tension, the music, everything. It was fantastic for them.
And we actually had Desmond Tutu as one of the speakers.
No way. How cool. That's powerful. That's powerful, no doubt. But that's incredible. Like that, even these years later, like that's what sticks with you, right? You can still hear those speakers. You can still see them. And like, that's what the opportunities that we are paving for our youth as well, right? And that's such a cool thing. That's so very cool.
I mean, and our boys were very blessed with that because then as they've both gone as chaperones for their churches.
Neat. Oh, cool.
Arden actually even taught. He taught 1 year at the gathering. So, it's something that was very important to them all.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's very, very neat.
Awesome. And I think that group of kids that we took, that's when we were New Columbia and St. John.
Okay.
And that group of kids, I still think to this day, is the reason we are united in Christ.
I believe that.
because they would always, with youth group, always say, why do we have to be New Columbia and St. John's? Why can't we be together?
Yeah.
And I think it was the strong faith in those kids, wanting to come together and be one.
Yeah, that's really powerful, right? We oftentimes think about our youth or our students as being the leaders of our church for the future, but what a cool way to recognize how our youth at the time were the leaders for then and there, right? That empowerment wasn't for some time later, but like rather they were able to lead the congregation and pave that way. Even while they were still youth, right? To be able to empower them with those gifts it's something incredible.
They had a voice. Pastor Pete had them we went on council retreats and we combined the both, and they were in there with us doing sessions, and I was on council too, and we were, they had a voice.
Yeah.
And it was very powerful. And as a youth, like you say, they have a voice in our church because we're kind of set in our ways, and we know that, God is taking care of us.
Right.
They're still building their foundation, and they see the direction different than maybe we do.
Yeah.
And I like that for us.
Exactly. And yet this congregation has such a remarkable gift of recognizing the ways in which our youth continue to work on us, right? And so we empower them so that it looks like youth groups leading the way to being able to bring two communities together in a stable fashion. It looks like these days taking one of our youth members and saying, like, she has all the gifts of leadership she needs to be able to do this. Let's find a way to make her the co-president of our church council, right? Let's empower the gifts we see in our youth so they can start leading us right here and now and not wait, right? Like that's such a cool thing. And that's so unique to this community, right? There are a lot of places that they say they value their youth and they want more youth, but then they don't do the work of empowering them. The fact that we're willing to step out on a limb to make that happen. Oh, what a gift. What a two-way gift, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So then as you think about this, right? I mean, obviously there have been all sorts of ways that have been inspiring over the years, all sorts of cool things about this community that made you want to come back. But what has that meant for you, right? What has that meant for the two of you and for you as a family? What has being a part of this community meant in your own lives over the years?
It's been ups and downs in it, and but it's still brought us together in the foundation.
Yeah.
My dad was a mason.
Yeah.
He worked with bricks and blocks, and he drug us to church. But on that, and as a mason, one thing he taught me was you build a foundation.
Yeah.
And upon that foundation, you can build anything.
Yeah.
And sure, it's going to maybe crack, or the roof might even blow up the church.
Oh, yeah,
but
boy,
you
howdy.
build it because you have that foundation.
Right.
And our community in our church, it's a community, as you can see, it's so far outreaching.
Yeah.
As you interview different people from different areas.
Yeah.
My sons have took that and built on their community. As our community continues to grow, they're still attached to United in Christ.
Yeah, absolutely. That to have that foundation for so many different aspects of life allows you then to be able to reach out more and more boldly into the world, right? And that's very cool to think about that as a ripple effect. Where your sons now plug in, that comes from the foundation that started here at United in Christ, right? And that's a really remarkable thing. That's really, really cool. Very cool. So then as let's shift gears then a little, right? As we think about the ways in which we have found a place in this community, found value in this community over the years. Where do you see that value ahead, right? What are your continued hopes and dreams for this place? What do you think? What do you hope, rather, that God will continue to stir up among the folks here at United in Christ as we think about where God is calling us into God's future?
Just to grow more.
Yeah.
To become bigger.
Yeah.
Help out more people. Get more people involved.
Right. And I love that, right? Because it's not about growing just for our own sake, but grow so that we can continue leveraging the love of God we've encountered for our neighbors, right? That's very cool. Very, very cool.
I'd see it was a big part of the youth, our kids, and Karen, the Bible school. was it was outreaching to the community, unbelievable.
Yeah.
You would like the kids from the church would come, and you would say, you know, you have a small amount of kids, but you say invite your friends,
Yeah.
and it's amazing how you see that over the week grew,
Yeah.
and they kept coming and coming. I think Bible school is a real good thing for outreach for our community. I'd like to see that come back in and start over again. I mean, it's
Well, boy, howdy, be ready when I come knocking then, Dave.
it's amazing. I mean,
Absolutely. No, it can be absolutely incredible, right? It can be a microcosm of those extraordinary experiences that our youth get when they go to like big things like the gathering, right? But you can get some of that on the local level, right? You can have those kind of aha moments together in that way. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you. This has absolutely been wonderful spending this time together. Thank you for, I don't know, enduring me. We're on episode 30 of this, I think. So I don't know if people, but either way, I'm glad you're here. So this is really nice. But before we go.
I thought you were saving the best for last.
Yes, of course. We only work our way up. So, I'll leave out the commentary of who's coming after you. It's great. No, but in all seriousness, thank you very much. But I give everyone a chance there at the end, if here at the end rather. Is there anything that you would like to share with the folks who are listening at home? Anything you'd like to share with the church family, with United in Christ? This is your moment. Any words of wisdom, any wild cards you want to throw our way? This is your chance.
I just miss everybody. I love the Zoom, and at least we have that on Sunday, because it kind of feels like your week's not complete without having church. So yeah. I thank you for that. You've done fabulous. Sure. But I know we're all glad. We'll be happy to get together and be able to give each other a big hug.
Absolutely. Yeah, we miss everyone. That's for darn sure, right? And it'll be a day of much rejoicing when we can reconvene together in person. But thank you. Thank you for this then. And to get us there, everyone at home, please, God's continued peace and blessings in the days ahead. Stay safe, stay healthy, so that we can get there together, right? And that'll be a beautiful thing. Well, Dave and Karen, thank you again. This was absolutely wonderful. We'll talk to you later. And to everyone else at home, we'll see you later this week, I think. But until then, bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.